Okay, do we have some people over here? Hello everyone. This is a really improvised stream, really. Just wanted to begin working on a song and I decided to just stream it so you can be with me, guys. So, hello every one of you, the usuals and the not that usuals. This is a transcription stream, that meaning we're going to go deep into a song and we're going to write the bass line from the beginning, from zero. Okay, no reference, just the info that internet will give me, really. So hello every one of you. Victor Chmeliars, you have the weirdest names, I gotta say. David CM, yeah. Nikhil Gaur, Fernanda Gonzalez, Felipe Guzman, Alan Dalidet, and many of you. Hello and welcome to this. It's a little bit of a different stream. It's a more chill, I would say. But I still remind you of some things. You have your live chat. I will be reading you and reading some recommendations. I think some people actually helped me in the process of those streams that I've been making. And you're giving me some feedback, and that's great. So I remind you also there's a super chat activated if you want to make a donation. I don't think I put in the link for the nations on the on the description. I'm going to do that in the meantime. Okay. So the song that we're going to transcribe today is a really popular one, I would say. It's a Take On Me by Aha. And you would think this is no bass. There's no bass over here, and there's actually no original bass. It's just a synth bass that I really want to make into a bass line. Okay, we're not going to change the notes, and we're not going to change anything. We're just going to transcribe this synth bass line and see if we can pull it off in the stream. So give me some minutes. I'm going to go over some things, and soon we're going to listen to the full song, or maybe a bit of the song. I had the fortune actually to find the original bass track. Of course, the bass take on the synth bass. So that's the thing we're going to listen now, probably. I know it's difficult for me to get over copyright in these instances, so I'm not going to aim to protect that. Okay, these streams are really not of benefit if you're thinking about money, but I like the feedback that we can get, and that you can get maybe something out of the process. Okay, so Bass Fast says, actually, I'm going to write the tab with you. Take On Me could be fun to play. Yeah, that's a good exercise. If you want to do it, try maybe opening your software and trying to make it with me. Why not? So in the meantime, let's hear a little bit of the bass only that I found. Here it is. It should be in any minutes. We should be listening to it. Okay. I'm still working on some links over here. There it is. Let's see if you can think about the song. And you will notice this bass line is really important in the song. We can talk about that in a minute. So I'm hearing some things. At least we are in register for most of the time. I was afraid of not hearing notes that are on the register of the bass just in a standard tuning. I never want to down tune that much. I don't like it really that much. It's not that great at listen for this bass. I don't know if I can reach the high note. Maybe with some karaoke I can fake it, but okay. Let's begin with this. So we're going to switch the view into the transcription part. There's the desktop, and we can begin familiarizing with the software I'm using. This is Guitar Pro 7, and we're going to write here. And this is Go Play Along, in which we will hear the song. There it is. I really like the harmony at the beginning. That little chord I really want to figure out. Yeah, we're not going to listen to it fully now. So let's start. Okay. Oh, the link for donations, I think it's on now. So feel free to do it if you want to. I'm going to work now. So let's figure out the tempo for this song. 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, I think it's around 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Let's make it into 169, so we can make it a little bit more interesting. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds fair enough. Okay, I'm never aiming for the exact tempo, beats per minute. It's just to make a reference of it. Mostly because we're going to sync up with the original song later, right? So let's see. Let me get comfortable for this. Okay. So now we need to see when the line will start. 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. And I think we're starting over there. A little bit of zooming. So we have some bars of silence, and then we're going to begin working with not much with the original bass studio track. I want to focus more on this, the bass only. This channel is good if you ever want to go and check out some instrumentals or some isolated tracks. I like this channel actually. He uploads or she, I don't know, many of the of the tracks that are on the internet that you can find related to to drums only, synth only, and whatever. We can actually hear all the tracks of the song, and that's really interesting for you to understand more of the song. I like it. Okay, so we have a, I think we're beginning with in the 10 seconds, yeah. So we can maybe hear that in the original track. Not now, but I think there. It's quite clear, right? So let's figure out the notes. Let's see if we can do something. Okay. That's it. That's the note. Okay, so I usually tell you, I kind of like figure out by ear the first note, and then I just go through with some instinct, but mostly it's just some theory applied into all of this. Okay, it's knowing your intervals, as I always say. It's knowing some relation into what you're hearing harmonically. Also, many things that maybe I can go through. Okay, but this note I just figure out because I try to sing it, then I find it in the instrument, and I find it quite fast. Maybe because I have some training, and maybe because I'm accustomed to know the register of the instrument. So I kind of like figure out, yeah, it may be something like this. It may be over here. But as we're making this more similar to a bassy synth track, we're going to follow more the strings that are thicker. So we're going to go into the E string for this low B. As you can see, I'm playing with a pick just to get it more attack into it. I'm not quite sure this will be the final result, but maybe I like it because the pick will give you a little bit more of the attack that a synth obviously has, right? So let's see. Okay, I hear a little bit of a down, a different note in that octave, but I don't think it's part of the song. It's more like a probably a mistake. I don't know. There. It's kind of like it goes a little bit up. Something like that. I don't know, but I'm going to make it just as an octave. Okay. So let's write that. Is this is a kind of like a constant pattern probably, and we have that. We're going to play a lot with staccato probably because we need to make all of this really sharp and really with lower rhythm, with a sharper rhythm. We need to shorten out all the figures. So we're going to play around with a lot of staccato probably. So we need tun 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 pam pum pa 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 pum. Okay, let's make it like this. I would say something like this. Okay. Let's raise a little bit of the level of the bass or here. Yeah, something like that, right? Then we have eighth notes repeated in the octave, so it's okay. By the way, I think this is going to take not that much time. It's quite repetitive and it's easy to hear, but I just wanted to make this exercise a little bit more relaxed, probably. Okay. So let's see. Then we can repeat all of this. And I think it finishes just like that. Okay. So we have right? And then we're beginning with the original main riff or main intro, I don't know. I never go into parts and harmony at the beginning. I'm just writing most of the time, okay? So let's hear. Okay, let's hear this. It's B again. It's then E. Alright, something like that. A. Okay, we're having this. So, how can I actually think about this? It's already intervals over here, okay? I'm hearing the fourth when I'm going from B to E. Bum, 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 bum. It's quite resolute into the note. Bum, bum. Then I hear this jump and repetition of the same interval, right? And that half tone, it's quite easy to follow out. Something like that, right? So this already tells me a little bit about maybe what's the key even. I would say it's A, okay, especially for this. We're covering some notes related to A. So let's go into writing. Let's write that. So it's quite easy, I would say, to do. So it's always think about the silences and try to execute them as you're playing them. That will give you some ideas of how to construct better and more readable notation. Always try to make it into creating a quarter note. That will make you the differences. Okay. Always you need to fill out the rhythms to create quarter notes. If you're playing it in 4/4, of course. There we can do something like this, I think. All right. And always try to apply a lot of staccato, so you make it a little bit more easy to read even. That's more like my choice. This could be easily just an eighth note with a silence after, right? But I'm going with staccato just to make it a little bit more easy to read. Something like that. Let's be clear. Okay, same rhythm is actually applied for the next two bars, so we're going and copying that and changing the notes. Okay. I got those two. It's more like something like this, but without this note, so we can actually copy this. This is just full silence. Something like that, right? Yeah, let's leave it like that. Okay. As I said, this may be a little bit faster, so let me know if you have some doubts into following all of this, okay? Will you ever do a cover on Enter Sandman? Probably, yeah. I will probably make every cover in the world, you know? If I'm old enough to live. I don't know. What song are we playing? Take on Me. Okay. If any of you guys have a question, you can actually follow it on the live chat. I think there's a lot of guys that we can actually tell you some of the things that I already say. I think it's that. Let's hear. Now it's the verse. Right? It's a lot of variations of the same thing, I would say. So this is more like similar to this, but we're having tun, and then we're changing the second part. Again. Okay, dun 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. There's a difference. Dun. Right. Bum, 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 bum. I would say we're going to copy that. Probably comes a little bit of a similar thing. Right. Something like that. Okay, I need to hear everything again. I usually do that. So I think I actually forgot to copy this part 2 times. Right, so we need to take some space. 2, 3, 4 bars. And copy this. Okay, again, I usually do something like that, some errors about copying, especially when it's quite repetitive. So again, okay, we're in a good position now. By now I already know that this will be a really interesting exercise for rhythmic patterns, okay, following the rhythm, especially with the little changes that you need to adapt to in different parts. So again, verse, and there's something interesting, kind of like the going into the chorus. So we're going to write verse over here. And then it changes. Probably something like this. I like that. So let's hear verse again. Okay, little difference, and then something crazy. It's a D, but it sounds like it's in the lower octave. But we're not going to just down tune for that, okay? I think we're going to place it just in this octave. So it should be lower octave and then this, but we're going to just repeat, okay? Because I don't want to, I want to save the time of just down tuning just for that note. If I see there's too much of a low register after, maybe we're going to change all the things, but let's see how this advances, okay? It actually, then it goes like this, right? A and G sharp. Okay. So let's write that. Like this. think something like that. So it goes. Okay. And this should be in lower octave. And I'm actually going to make it like this with a little sign. So we go over it and when we have all together, all put together, okay? We're probably going to go back into this, right? Why you never play metal? I do actually play some of it, but I would say I don't have that many patrons asking for metal songs. But I actually love to go into some of those songs. I remember the Pantera song that I just uploaded in a while ago, and it really liked. I really liked the playing that. I really like Pantera actually. It's kind of hard to hear the bass in the transcription. Can it be turned up over the drums? Yeah, I can turn it up a little bit. Okay, so this should be an octave down, but I think we have the verse. And we're going into the chorus. Right? So let's hear again. It actually continues over here. So it's... And then I'm pretty sure it goes into A. That gives me more certainty this is probably A major. This is quite... there's also movements in a scale that you will usually understand together as different intervals going together, but that will also give you some tools into transcribing easily, following more of the idea of the scale, okay? This is a pretty standard CBA going down, or in whatever major harmony, A, G sharp, F sharp, or Do, Si, La. So it sounded something like this. Let's see if I'm wrong or not. Something like that. Okay, a lot of staccato again. Okay. Let me know if you can hear everything correctly, by the way. It's not Guitar Pro 8, it's just 7. I don't know if there's an 8. No, this is the last one actually. Okay. Something like that. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we're always thinking about using the lower strings, okay? This is kind of like a goal. I heard something like this. And then some repetition probably. Let's see. I like that part. It almost switches into a different tempo. Let's save. Always save. Probably kind of like a repetition of this. I'm actually going to write the key I'm thinking it is. It should be A major. Let's see. Right. No. 1, 2. 1, 2. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I heard something like that. And eighth notes. Boom. And probably back into a verse. I'm not quite sure. Okay. Thank you. I learned to play the bass with your videos 6-7 months ago. I have a Thunderbird. That's a great bass. It's actually one of the best of the low mid budget, I would say. I actually played for a while. I don't remember. No, maybe I'm lying, but it's a great bass. I don't remember the brand of it. Very neck heavy, yeah. Yeah, I remember it was really heavy. Okay, let's go into more transcription over here. Verse. Okay, nice. We actually repeated all the things that we wrote. And that's a happy moment for me when I have to copy and paste a lot. It's a... Oh, it's great. Epiphone Gibson, yeah, I remember. Thunderbird. Why do you have those three sharp symbols at the beginning of the bar? Don't know if it's called a bar or something else. Yeah, we usually call bar one of those. I usually call this a system. It's more like a Latin American expression. I think there's another expression for the full bar of bars. You know, the full staff. I would say. I don't remember. You can correct me, but I call it a system. This is a bar or measure, and this is the key. Okay, the key of the song that I just figured out is A major, just because of the alterations that I'm just hearing. Okay, so I went and hear an F sharp, and that also always gives me the idea that I'm not in C. I need to go into some alterations. Okay, I need to go into create a major scale. This is quite major. If you hear it, it's beginning in a major key. Okay, but I might be wrong. I'm just guessing all of this. Okay, maybe at the end of all of this, I will give you a little bit more an explanation on how do I understand the key. Okay, it may be a little bit difficult. But yeah, I heard an F sharp, then I have this G sharp, and that G sharp gives me, and this it gives me the idea that this is probably in A because of the G sharp and F sharp, and those alterations are mostly entering into A major. Okay, so if you're not that familiar with that, begin googling about the circle of fifths and understanding how keys work in contemporary harmony. Actually, okay, what the circle of fifths actually does in a simple way is just taking the C major scale and transporting it into each of the 12 notes of the Western system, so you can play that scale beginning with whatever note and following the structure that comes implied into the major scale. Okay, and that is I think it's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That little scale, it's transported all over the system of the 12 notes that we all know. Okay, in the Western system. But I'm going to explain more of it when we finish all of this. Okay, I just know that I just copied and pasted something interesting, and we're going into the bridge probably of the song now. So let's see what we can expect. Yeah, I'm going to explain more of that at the end. Okay, try to remind me if you want to. Okay. Okay, we have another lower octave right here. Okay, I'm not just going to kind of like a focus on if I'm going to down tune now. It may be a choice, but seeing the register now, if I have to reach this low C sharp, I would actually have to down tune a lot. So I'm going to go and write as if it were the higher octave. I'm just going to do something like this. Okay, but this should be pum pum in the lower octave. Maybe I'm going to take the same way in doing something like this. Okay, I need to decide all of this, but for now, I'm just going to let myself clear of the notes that are, okay? Then I'm going to decide about the register. You will see that in the final process probably. But I would say I want to stick with standard tuning. Probably I'm just going to arrange an understanding between those differences. We're actually having a tritone movement. We have the C sharp. And G. But we're having G natural now. So there's a difference that I may have to think about when I'm going to figure out the harmony, okay? But this is a quite, a too early stage for me to understand about harmony yet. I'm just going with the notes. So let's write all of this. It should be something like this. 11. I think it's something like that. Yeah. Okay. I will remind you, this is not the original octave. I'm just going into writing the rhythm and all the other parts. So I'm going to write actually a little bit of a sign so I remember this is a difficult part. And into there. So we need to copy the same rhythmic patterns. We're just changing notes. And I think we have it. This. Okay. Again, yeah, I don't remind it. Okay. I'm actually from Chile. Okay, it's a country in South America. So yeah, my English accent is like Latino, as you said. Nacho VG Music. And I think we're repeating all of this again. Let's go into here. there's another pattern. Let's see. We're just going to go into the octave. Okay, for now. Okay. And we finish it like that. So boom, 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 boom. Let's see. And silence. Okay, I can't see how much silence we have here, so we need to go into the main song. We're actually going to re-listen to most of it. Here it comes. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, just 4 bars. Just 4. Okay. I think we can actually copy and paste. Let's see. Here. Okay. I think we're actually finished. Verse. There is a change. We're just repeating the chorus. we're actually finished. Then it is. It's just that's the end of it. So we're going to follow all of this, and the problems will be actually thinking about how can we manage to play those octaves in the right register, or maybe we are not going to play in the right register. Okay. So it may be an option to use pedals. Maybe we can actually use an octave pedal to make it a little bit more suitable for what it is, especially if we're going into this. But let's figure it out, okay? Let's hear all of this again. So, Dylan Collis says, I don't know why, but seeing this process from the outside is mesmerizing. Oh, that's great, man. I'm glad it actually is entertaining for some of you. When I transcribing all the instruments, it's more interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do it with this song, but yeah. So let's hear this again from the beginning. Verse. That's the problem. There's the thing. I have many options for that. I don't know which one I'm going to choose. Verse again. Okay, let's hear this again. like this. I don't know if it fades out. I'm just going to listen to the end so we can actually. It fades out. It fades out in the chorus, so we're actually done. I don't know how much this took. It wasn't that long. So let's see. Okay. I would recommend Guitar Pro. I would say for writing. That's the main thing I care. But there's other softwares also. Okay. I think this is the more friendly one into stringed instruments. I would never write officially a piano part in this software. I would probably go with I use Finale or Sibelius. I think it's called something like that. Okay. So I want to save. Then I want to go into exporting this, and let's sync it up, and let's see if we can mess around with it a little bit. And I'm still a little bit uncertain about what I'm going to do with that thing of the register over here. Okay, the notes are there. Okay, just we need to figure out the correct register for this, and a little bit of an adaptation probably on the bridge for this. Okay, so I like to maintain the octave interval. I think that would be important, right? Because that makes you more like into the idea that we're playing more a synth type line. So it could be possible just to do something like this instead of we could just go. It sounds not the same. Maybe I'm going to stick with that, just to maintain the octave in a standard tuning. And I'm not thinking really about down tuning into what it actually is, because I think the lower note that we're reaching is the low C sharp, and that would mean down tuning into a lot, and I don't want to do that really. It would probably be not in the case. So instead, let's go into some transcription and some syncing up, right? Okay. So we're beginning here. That's in the register. Right. This should be easier. It's probably in a constant tempo. So I'm most of the time I'm figuring out the snare drum hits are longer and more present than all the other peaks over here. So this peak will always go into the snare drum. I don't know Yeah, I know it's a little bit annoying. By the way, I really like this song. Besides the trend or the 80s era or whatever, it's a really great song. And then we're just fading out into existence. Okay. So let's see if we can play some of it, but I'm just going to relax for a while and see what you guys have to say. Most difficult song to learn how to play. I don't know. You have many things that technically are difficult. You know, you need to understand there's technical difficulties and there's also intellectual or maybe related into knowledge difficulties. Okay, for me, trying to improvise or trying to follow a tune by ear or creating at the time, just like as it is when you play some jazz or when you play some difficult tunes. That's the main difficulty. Okay, everything else you can just achieve most of the time with some time, but you need some knowledge for some concepts in some songs. But yeah, about technical difficulties, I think you have so many different things that you can cover, and probably just one person in the world can actually play. And there are some persons, some people that have quite an amount of technicality and speed that they have achieved because they have a lot of time into it. And you probably won't ever be capable of making something like that, but I don't know, man. What's the limit? What else? MuseScore isn't too bad. I'm not really familiar with that software. I think I heard of it, but softwares I recommend related into all of this that we're doing, I think it would be Guitar Pro. Probably not 7, but I don't know, 5 if you can find it. I recommend Go Play Along all the time because it allows you to sync up. It allows you to visualize your tablature, playing around it, and actually being entertained playing it with the correct song, with the correct sound, the original sound. As I said, I use Finale. That's a software for writing in a more complex way, in a more academic way for other instruments. And those are the writing tools or visualizing tools I'm using. I know there's a lot of them around, but some of them I would say are not that good. Hammer Smash Face. Yeah, I remember that song being really difficult. Those guys that play with 3 fingers and really fast things, it's really, really difficult to achieve all of that. I wouldn't say I'm aiming to be a virtuoso in that quality. Um, but there are some difficult things, for sure. Okay, let's try to play this a little bit. It actually went quite well. It took me about an hour, I don't know. That's little time for the effort that a usual complex song takes. Okay, it's more than 4 or 5 hours most of the time. You know, uninterrupted 4 or 5 hours. Um, Dylan Collins says my colleague uses Sibelius for anything like that. Sibelius is the other option for. I don't know if it's Sibelius or Sibelius. I don't know, but that's the other option uh, compared into Finale. But I really like more Finale because I'm a little bit accustomed into it. That's the thing. Most of the time, you get accustomed to a software, and then it's really difficult to get over it, right? Because you already have that experience into that software, and that's difficult because maybe there's some other option that will suit you better, but you need to experiment with it. Maybe I need to experiment with other softwares to know what's the one that's better. But most of the time, I'm a bit lazy, and maybe that's part of just being. But I want to stick with the things that I know they work for me, okay? And I can do them really fast. And that for me, it's saving time, saving some effort, and that's always appreciated. What is the most difficult genre you ever tried to transcribe? Um, I would say the most busy lines and the ones that are the most difficult are the ones that are never repeated throughout the whole song. And those songs come from bases that they are actually playing the song, but they are mostly improvising into the tunes, into the chords. And those are great bases, of course, because they just go into it, and if they need to fill out something or make it into the harmony, they will make it. It's not all the time maintaining a riff and copying and copying. That happens to me a lot with Motown sounds, usually old 70s songs, um, and more of the session musician era, in which you just kind of like went into one take and played around, and that's how it is, right? But yeah, the more experience the bassist is in improvising and creating different lines, and just making variations throughout the song, that's the most difficult, because I need to check all the different feels that he's doing, right? Or she. um and that's the thing, it's difficult, but and I like it. I like it that way. I would say my aim into playing is just, and when I record my songs, I usually don't know how to play them as I recorded them, because I did something there that was kind of like unique for the time, and maybe it's hard for me to replicate it. Not hard, because I can transcribe it and whatever, but it probably was just a thing of the time, and I like that. And for that, you really need some experience, because you need to know how to improvise, how to go into the scale that's correct for the harmony, and the chord tones correct for the harmony, and then going around with all of that. Okay. Yeah, Dylan says there's an old Motown sound where the bass line never repeats at all for the entire song. It happens a lot with I don't know, with Jamerson you have some glue that makes it all together, but yeah, Mr. I don't remember the name, Joe Dart, I think, from Wolfpack. and he kind of like takes that old vintage idea into a new type of playing, and you have a lot of Motown influence, and those type of basses, yeah, they repeat, and then they create lines, and then create melody. Okay, that's the more I play and understand things, you begin to understand that playing bass is playing a melody. Okay, you're more like a voice than any other instrument. You're a voice that follows the idea of making melody, but maintaining the structure of the chord, and that is difficult. So if you can maintain that and also play around with it, yeah, it will be a hard work for me to transcribe, for sure. Most of the Flea songs I transcribe, they have a lot of repetition. You have a chorus that's a little bit settled, then you have a verse that's settled, an intro that's settled, and that repeats, maybe with some differences. Always there's some differences with Flea, but it also depends on the genre. Okay, more funk-oriented bass lines have more liberty to make things, but maybe it wouldn't be the same for I don't know, electronic type of songs that in which you need to maintain the bass line to create some static things for other guys to create more on top of it. You need to know when is your role in the context. Okay, I'm going to play the song, okay? Let's see if we can make it in one take. You should see now. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so a little idea. For most of these peak-oriented things, you need to maintain a beat. I'm now figuring out that this it's difficult in other ways, in maintaining the rhythm and maintaining the beat and trying to remember all the different shapes. part will be a little bit difficult, but maybe it will not be the same. We're in the final chorus now. This repeats into the end. And whatever, right? Yeah. I need to think about some things related to the problems that we already settled, and I'm going to do that probably next time. Okay, so this was really not that difficult. I hope it helped you, because when it's a little bit less difficult, it may be easier to follow. I don't know. So maybe try slapping it for the extra attack. It may be an option, but I don't know. It may be. I could play it all with slapping. It may sound great, I don't know. But I'm just also thinking that I just saw some live videos of the song, and the guy that was playing bass in not in all the gigs, in most of the gigs, the bass was just a synth, but in some gigs there was a guy playing bass and he played it with a pick. So maybe I'm going to stick with that issue, so people don't get mad about me trying to impress anyone or whatever. I don't know. I had actually a problem with Naked in the Rain, because many people said, and I actually think they are right, that that song was in a drop D. But I'm still seeing the live videos, and I still see it as he's playing it with a full down tune, a whole step. But maybe I was wrong. Okay, I will never be that stubborn to not admit that I just did what I did with the tools that I have. Okay, so the most important part for me is figuring out the chords and most of the rhythmic patterns, and a little bit of the notes. Of course, that's the most important part. The notes, I would say, they are never badly written by me, but in most of the cases there's different tunings that I didn't understand it was like that, or different positions, maybe it was in a different position. Those things are usually difficult to understand. Okay, so that's it. I don't think I'm going to play it again. We have most of it just done. So let's go back into this. Let's save this. We have it mostly figured out, and the details will be for another day, I would say. Okay, guys, so if you're liking this that I'm doing, you can let me know, of course, following all of this. But the most important part is that this may help you in a way to understand a little bit of the process. Okay, I had some talking pending about a key. So it's a little bit difficult most of the time to understand what is key. Um, but how can I say it? First, knowing the circle of fifths is really important, really, really important, and then understanding that the major scale is the main source of knowledge of all of this. That is different keys. It actually went into the idea of being able in a piano to play the major scale in starting with whatever note of the 12 notes that you have available. That's the main important understanding of it. So when you have the model of the major scale from C to C, in you don't have alterations. You have just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? You have those notes without sharps, without flats. But when you take that same model of intervals and copy it, but from G, for example, you will understand easily that for it to maintain the model, you need to make the F sharp, because you can actually write it in a paper and you will understand. Okay, maybe I will do that with some material that I need to buy for me to create visuals. But once you understand that, you will understand, okay, in G I need an F sharp if I want to make a major scale. And that it goes right into the circle of fifths. When you have two sharps, you have F sharp and C sharp, you're now in D. And for maintaining the major scale copied into D, from D to D, to maintain that model, you need to have F sharp and C sharp. And that goes around with all the keys that you have available. Okay, with three sharps you have a A. With four sharps you have E. With five you have B, and again and again. And backwards in the circle of fourths is the same thing. You have a one flat, it's for E, for F, sorry, two flats for B flat, E flat, then A flat. Sorry, I think it's A flat E or E flat A. I don't remember. B flat. Yeah, E flat, then A flat, then D flat, and then it goes around in the circle. So yeah, for more explanations, I would say go into into Friday's stream. Okay, then I can give you more and more info. So that's it, guys. If you like this, let me know, and I'll see you next time. I don't know when I'm going to do this, but I think I'm going to make a transcription stream each time I sit around and make one. It actually kind of like helps me a little bit to concentrate in the task. I usually go and procrastinate too much in between. But yeah, that's the circle of life. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'll see you I don't know when. Take care and goodbye.